Oh. Bad connection on the truck, so should be good now. I gotta give it a minute. Okay, I let it on the charger, or on the truck charge for about an hour. See if it starts now. Now we can get to work. Alright, so this is how to change your filters and your oil on your Bobcat 743. First, I'll give you guys some part numbers. These are all Napa filters. The oil filter is a 1521. The battery I'm using is also a Napa commercial. It's 7237. The hydraulic filter, 1482. These are really expensive. They're like 70 bucks. But I try to change them when I can. And then way back there is the diesel fuel filter. That is a 3361. This is a Kubota engine. And the drain plug on the oil is right here. This is recommending 10W30. That's what I put in it last time. I did read on some forums though, a lot of guys run 15 weight 40 Rotella. Alright, so to drain the oil, you're going to want to get a piece of cardboard like this. Make a little funnel. Yep. So that's a 22 millimeter. Get it started first and then get the filter set up. Catch. Oh yeah. Pop the dipstick, get a little more flow. And I use the forks to tilt the machine back a little bit so we can get it all out. Gonna hook up my battery charger because we got some sort of alternator charging issue. I'm gonna let that sit for a little bit. Well, it's definitely a couple hours later. I got the wrong oil and wanted to stop at that point, so oh, I crinkled it. Oh, that thing's on there. A little bit of rust on that one. I got my chainsaw stuck, so now I need to go free it with the Bobcat. We're gonna give this a quick wipe off. Now, most diesel oil, you know, gets real dark like this due to the combustion process of diesel. So, but this was definitely old oil that needed to be changed. So now I got my new filter, my 1521. Yeah, so I'm running 10 weight 30 because the cap says 10 weight 30. I couldn't find a service bulletin that said switch to 1540, so I ran back out and got this stuff. Ideally you would fill this up a little bit too. I think I will, just a tiny bit because it's sideways, so it's I like to keep the filters full when I put them on. Write the date on it and the hours. My hour meter doesn't work. This thing's probably had a lot of oil changes in it. And crack this loose. Start filling it up. I believe I read online it takes 9 quarts or a little over 2 gallons. Go here, check that. It took 2 gallons and it's at the mark, so now I'm going to fire it up, let it run a little bit, and then check it again. It might need topped off a little bit once it pumps through the system. Alright, we let it run for a few. Check it again, see we're a little low, you can see there. Hopefully you can see that. Because it said 9 quarts, so if we think about it for a minute, right? So there's probably still a half quart in there, just residual on the walls, maybe a little less than that actually. Probably about a half quart short, so. Do that with all my engines. I run it, check them again. Alright, and then I think tomorrow I'll show you guys how to change the hydraulic oil filter. I gotta make sure I have some so I can top that off, because it does take about a quart inside of that filter, and the diesel as well. But this is good for today. Alright. Still pretty strong. Let's see if we can cut this down. Oh, I forgot my tape measure. Hey, what's up guys? It's a good probably 6 months later. It's July now. And we're gonna change fuel filter. Hey, like I was saying, we're back on the Bobcat. Back here, you can see it, we have the fuel filter. And I have a new one. This is 3361, it's what I put on there before. It does not have a water trap, but it's about time. It's been 2 years, at least 2.5 years. And I think right here is the primer. And so basically what we'll do is pop that off, and there's actually a primer bulb right there. And I'm going to fill up the filter with diesel and screw the new one on. Crack this air bleeder, prime it until I see air come out of here. And then I think it should self-bleed the lines. I did this before, but it's been a few years. And I didn't have to crack the injector lines to get the air out. Let's see what we can do. Got the strap wrench. Alright, we'll try to wedge this thing in there. Alright, can try this style now. Okay, I finally found it. Okay, cut a little thing. Okay. Well, it doesn't look too bad. Let's see if there's water come out the bottom. No. Looks pretty good. Well, that's good news, but we're going to change it anyway, so. She's dripping over there, so we'll get a new one on. Lube up the seal. Try not to get any dirt in it. Try to go straight down instead of around anything. Crack this bleeder. Alright, so we're going to try to bleed the air out of the diesel in a minute here, but before that, I would check my alternator and it's not charging. So this is a single wire alternator. You see that there. Basically all it does is output that charge. Connector off. And sand it. If that doesn't do it, then I'll probably just buy a new one. But before I do that, I figured I'd make sure this connection is sound. Oh! That'll wake you up. Should probably disconnect the positive terminal before doing this. A little bit of corrosion on there. So unconnected, 12.1. Fired right up. Alright, so we're going to change the hydraulic filter now. Here's the Napa number, 1482. Pretty expensive, it's like $70. Might be a cheaper one online, but got my hydraulic oil. I'm going to pre-fill the other one, I think. Quick swap. I'm using AW46. Make sure this is the same. Okay, let's see if I can spill this everywhere. Do you remember last time I had to let this soak for a second? Top it off. You're supposed to pour on the outside, but it's really hard. It'll all soak in. Make sure this seal is lubed. Wrench on it beforehand. And I get a little stuck. It says half turn, so. Alright, the last thing is we're going to do a quick visual on the air filter. If it's super dusty, we'll blow it out with compressed air, but I did not buy a new one. I'm not working in a super dusty environment. It's so wet the past 2 years, it's just been raining. think this cap is actually supposed to go. Remove this baffle to empty dust. Make sure how long. Change that main filter. We're gonna blow this out with dust or with compressed air. I think these are just like standard Chevy alternators, the old school ones. I found one for 50 bucks. It was not putting out charge. It's a single wire, even after I cleaned the ground off, or cleaned the main lead off. So we'll change that probably tomorrow. But trying to keep up with maintenance on this thing, greasing it every day. I want it to last for another 30 years. Alright, we're going to change the alternator in here. So I'm going to start by disconnecting negative battery terminal. Mine's a 1/2 inch. And then we're going to remove this panel. Looks like I need a socket for that. 1/2 inch. We've changed this before. It does not have a Bobcat alternator on it. It has a Chevy, standard Chevy alternator, 1 wire. Probably still have to jump start it, and then I'll run it for a few hours and we'll see if it starts charging up. We'll check the voltage it's putting out. Oh, what is leaking? Coolant. Oh man. Did not realize that was a coolant seal. Okay, so we're gonna try to do it without. Okay, before we install it, we want to make sure it's gonna work for us. Pulleys look like they're the right size. This is weird that it doesn't have a, it has like a flat there. Check the back. Single wire Delco Remy. The other one doesn't have this bolt. Not sure why. Let's check it. We're just gonna tighten that up. Leave that in there. Looks like this one has a plug cap that the new one didn't come with. It's reassuring, but we'll put that, in here. Can't do it one-handed. Here's the bracket. There was that loose bolt on the temperature gauge there. Here's my temp gauge if I ever need it. Water pump passage, here. Besides being dirty, it all looks pretty good. Alright, so I shut the camera off for a little bit. I had to fight this cover. My problem with this was the pickup line for the 12 volt alternator output, 14 volt, whatever. It was on the bottom. I don't know why. Probably, I just bought it off Amazon. It's not direct compatible. But anyways, my wiring harness was a little short. So I had to take this off, kind of stretch the wires and pull them through. They're a little tighter than I'd like right now, but it's all protected with loom, so I'm not worried about it wearing through necessarily. The belt tight, everything else worked pretty good. So the next step now, I'll pull my truck up and put this negative battery terminal back on. We'll try to fire it up, see if it puts out the right voltage. 2.35 volts, so hopefully that's the standard voltage output. I don't have an amp meter to check it, but I'll get one eventually. So just running, I'm running for an hour, and then we'll see if it starts back up. If not, we might have like a ground issue somewhere or something. I don't